Hey, good morning, everyone. We're going to give it another 4 or 5 minutes before we start this, just so we have as many people in here at the beginning. Um, got a few different topics to go over today. Pretty excited about the first one for sure. So hopefully we'll have a good group today.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Ro.
Hey, first off, got our first Google review either last night or today. I don't know. I just saw it. 5 star, of course. And the other thing is, when you get a second, can you help me figure out how I do the cash from the Square? Because I have two cash transactions that I haven't deposited, but I can't figure out how I reconcile that in the register that I'm
Yeah,
taking it out.
yeah. I'll get with you offline on that.
Yeah. Have you seen our numbers over the last few days?
Yeah, I've been getting in the streams from Square.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys get to see that, but 21 as of right this minute for the week.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm having to smack them around to sell ancillaries, though.
Yeah, that'll come with time, learning the pitch and how to educate the customer.
Well,
Um,
I tell you, the future pitch is what worked for me. The day that I had that $112 average, basically when anytime their mileage was in the 50s or higher, but below 75, I would just tell them, hey, you're not there yet, but your manufacturer recommends at 75,000 miles, you go up to a high mileage treatment or oil. And that with that kind of mileage, need to start thinking about a stabilizer, engine protectant. So just you still got some time. And the minute they turn around and be like, well, can you tell me more about it? Certainly. Would it hurt my motor to start now? Oh, no, it's definitely good for your motor now. But no, you don't really need to start for a while. No, let's go ahead and start now. Yes, sir. You're the boss.
yeah, so my biggest proponent to all of that is just educating the customer, and that sounds exactly like what you're doing. So, the more knowledgeable the customer is about their vehicle and about what their specifics and recommendations are, then it's just easier to be able to get them to justify getting the ancillary like a Lucas or a high mileage. So yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of the true package with the high mileage and okay, when I was there that day, it was a high mileage and true synthetic additive to a lot of these cars. Amazingly enough, a lot of these higher end cars, people don't like the word Lucas. I was kind of surprised by that because I said we have this and we have Lucas. I'm like, ooh, Lucas. Like, so I just stopped talking about Lucas. I was like, I'm not discussing a product that everyone goes, ooh. And
Well,
if a 1970 Chevrolet pickup comes in, I'm going to start saying the word Lucas. But a 2017 Land Rover, I'm just going to start with a brand that apparently they don't think is bad.
yeah, I mean, it's just like Seafoam, right? So some people live by Seafoam, they want Seafoam and everything. Some people live by Lucas. Um, you know, Lucas products and other ancillaries like that have kind of been synonymous with the oil industry. Lucas goes way back. They're a very kind of a legendary brand, so that's why we carry it now. If you're having that reaction in your market, then that's fine. Yeah, having a true brand product or something like that that does the same thing, it actually costs less for you to buy. Will definitely be able to help your numbers as well. So
Yeah, and I sell it for the same price, I think. I don't know. I worked it out where I have this package deal for customers now. You know, give them a special
gotcha.
if they do it all.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it offline. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get started now.
Yep.
It's 10:05. So, well, we are 3 days away from Christmas, so I hope everybody's having a good week and a happy holidays. You guys are getting ready for holidays, whichever one that you guys observe. Um, this call, I want to go over some year-end operations. I know that we're going to have a call next week as well on the 27th, so we'll kind of reiterate a little bit of those when we do that. But this one's going to be kind of about what we do and what we suggest you guys do as well, and how we can help you guys out in the future for that year end operations. So first thing I want to talk about is last week I went through and talked to all of our oil providers. So we have a couple. We obviously use PetroChoice, but we have some backups in our different markets just in case PetroChoice for whatever reason is going to be a day behind or whatever. If there's a local guy that can come in and service us with the same product, we will use them. But this is mainly for PetroChoice. So if there's any of you that are not using PetroChoice right now, I would recommend you doing this as well on your own front with your oil. But last week we went in and we got all of our prices from all of our vendors. There's only 4 of them. We have obviously 3 different markets. We have our Illinois market, we have our Ohio market, and our Pennsylvania market. But we use PetroChoice as our main supplier for all of them. But we do have some backups. So I went through and we negotiated our oil prices. Now, over the last couple of months, obviously the oil industry this entire year actually has been pretty volatile. Has been going up and down, up and down. And when that happens, the oil industry is a business. PetroChoice is a business. So if the oil prices say a barrel of oil is $90, and the PetroChoice and the suppliers have to up their charges to us. But then that same barrel of oil goes down to $45. As their business, they're gonna keep charging us the same price as if it was at $90, right? That's just the entire oil change industry. That's the entire oil industry. So you have to go in and negotiate those prices. So we did. We were able to negotiate PetroChoice down to about $1.50 per gallon off of both SKUs down. So what that means is that everybody that's running with PetroChoice right now will also see those price decreases, which means that it will be cheaper for you as well. If you were using a third party, I would contact whatever third-party vendor you are using for your oil and do the same thing. Let them know, hey, my franchisor was able to negotiate down these prices. We're using you right now. However, we can go with this other company. We're just looking for some breaks on our oil prices. And I don't want to kind of get too into the weeds on it. I just want to, that's something that we do for all of our stores every single year. So if you will be a multi-unit franchisee, even if you are just one unit franchisee, that is something that we do every year. So I would mark it on your calendars at the end of the year, say like December 20th, contact oil vendor to negotiate pricing. With the trends that we're seeing right now, we're seeing that things are starting to stabilize a little bit for us, and we're not anticipating any changes coming up within the next 3 to 4 months, which is good. So that's gonna make your metrics and have your profits, your margins will go up based on what you guys can negotiate down your oil prices. But like I said, if you are using PetroChoice, those have been negotiated down for you. So you'll be saving some money on that as well. Same thing goes with your used oil vendor. So it's kind of the opposite. When oil prices go up, they are more reluctant to give you more money for your used oil. You have to call and negotiate those prices with whoever your So if you're using Crystal Clean, if you're using Heritage, if you're using Heartland, which is mainly out of Ohio and then down in Texas and the Gulf area, you are going to want to negotiate those prices as well. I kind of equate this, and I've always equated this to almost like the insurance business for like your car insurance. So, you know, every 6 months I shop around for my personal just to see what the prices are. You're locked in at that price for those 6 months, but when that time comes up, you can start looking around and seeing what's you know, either a cheaper option for the same price, so on and so forth. We do that as well. So that's kind of what I equate this to in this industry is, you know, shop around for your vendors if you have a third party vendor. If you don't, then we do that on the backside. Obviously, if it helps our corporate stores, it'll help all of our franchisees using the same account with those vendors. So just something that's super exciting right now is we're going to be saving some money, so that'll help you guys on the back end as well. The next point that I want to go over, and something that we do every year at the end of the year, is we do an end of year inventory review. So I know some of you have been open. Ryan, you're coming up on your 9 months now. But you know, Ralph, since you just opened not too long ago, your inventory is kind of static as where you are. I mean, as long as you don't have anything that you over ordered in the beginning, you should be fine. But over the years, when you guys are doing this and you're open for you know, a full year, at the end of that year, you're going to want to go through and say, okay, what have I not been selling? What do I have on hand? What is something that we can kind of cut down on that we're not really needing? And maybe your manager is over ordering something because they saw maybe a flush of this one particular vehicle coming in, and now that vehicle hasn't came in a while, but they maybe over ordered an air filter or something for it. Doing an end of year review. So what we do is we have all of our managers go through and do a full inventory. Once we have that inventory here in the back office, we will go through and see what do we have overstock of, and what are we not stocked up on that we are going to need, or something that they're buying constantly that is just last minute, something that we can kind of stock for and look for the months coming up. This will also give you an idea of what your business is worth, right? So your business, all of your assets and everything that you have in it, which is all of your equipment, all of your inventory, everything like that is an asset. So you can get a good idea of what you have on hand that you've paid for, that's yours, and then what you can kind of get rid of for the next year, and you're not going to need to order this much of. And if you have overstock of something, obviously Service Champ, if you're using Service Champ, they have a stock back program where you can call Julie Williams or Ruben, and you can call them and say, hey, I have too much of this. Can you send me a printing label in a box? They'll send it to you, and you can send it back to them and get credit on your account. So that's something that we do every year for all of our stores, and we delegate our managers to do those. So if there's like a Tuesday or a Wednesday that's kind of slow, they'll just go in and count how many of everything that you have in the shop, filters, you know, ancillaries, oil by gallon, so on and so forth. And then from that point right then, I mean, obviously you can have a car come in and then that would change it. But just from that point right there, you can go in and say, okay, this is what I have on hand. This is what my business assets, not including all of your equipment and stuff, just inventory. But you can say, this is what my inventory is, and this is what we need to plan for going forward for next year. The next point that I want to make is, now that we are in the kind of the slow season, this is our slow season for our business in our markets. You know, Ryan is a little bit different than our normal markets, and some of you others that are going to be out west are going to be a little bit different as well, because you guys aren't getting snow and it's not super cold, so on and so forth. Like we're getting snow right now. We're probably going to get close to 3 inches today, but like our Chicago market, they just got a weather bulletin tonight. They're going to be getting, you know, 6 to 72 inches, which is insane to me. I don't know how big how you can spread that much, but but yeah, so that's gonna, people are probably gonna be staying indoors. People aren't gonna be driving as much, so on and so forth. So labor management isn't super important. Our corporate stores, if we have 3 guys, then I go to the store and they know when I hire them that, hey, this is our slow season. But we end up cutting back some hours to help with our cost of goods and our overhead. And it's better to do that than lay them off. I don't want to lay anybody off, especially during the holidays. So we'll go in and we'll say, hey, this is what we have to do. If you were at 40 hours, then we're going to have to, cut you down to 30 hours. You'll work 2 days, 2 full days, and then you'll have off like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then Fridays and Saturdays you'll work, half days just during the busy hours. And you can pull all of that information from your Square stand. You can pull those in the reports and see what your busy times are, and that can help you with scheduling as well. But labor management is super important during the slow times for our business. We are retail, so we do rely on the customers coming in, obviously. So if customers don't come in as often because of the weather or because of the season, or just because of money, some of our population and some of our customer base are on a fixed income. And during the holidays, most of that fixed income goes towards the holidays, little extra stuff here, buying gifts and so on and so forth. So just something to think about, and just letting them know, like, hey, once April comes back, March, April, the end of March, the beginning of April, we'll be able to get you back up, because that's when we start ramping back up. Usually from March, we go until early November. Early November is kind of when our season starts to just starts to plateau out a little bit, and then December we can start seeing some decline in numbers. So those are for the mature stores, obviously, but every market can be a little bit different. Just kind of want to give you guys a heads up and your thoughts on it, for what you want to do in your market. And then the last thing is, this kind of ties back to the end of year inventory review, but during these months, the inventory management is super important. We want to try to keep costs as low as possible during our slow time, because obviously, like I said before, less cars coming in, which means less revenue coming in. If we can lower our overhead during these months, it will help you a lot in your business. So making sure that your manager is ordering what they need. If you guys, we'll take Lucas for example. If you guys aren't selling Lucas, if you guys are selling a case of Lucas every 2 months or something like that, and you guys have 4 bottles on the shelf, during these months, I'm probably not going to reorder another case of Lucas yet until I get down to maybe 1 bottle. So if it's really not moving like that, then it's just something that you're going to want to think about on. Let's make sure that our managers know what we need to be ordering. Obviously 2222s, 4622s, and all those filters and everything are going to be prevalent. You're going to want to do that, but instead of ordering 5 cases of those filters like you would in June, maybe let's order 2 cases. So just getting them understanding what we're going to be needing inside of these months, and where your yearly inventory is going to be. So June, you're going to be ramping up more. You're going to be going through a lot more stuff. But in November, December, January, and February, you're not going to be going through as much. So just making sure you're keeping an eye on what you're ordering, especially if you're going to be an absentee owner or a semi-absentee owner. You don't want to get a bill from Service Champ for, let's say, $1,000, when really you guys could have done $500 worth of ordering and still would have been fine. So just something to think about. It's 10:20, so I'm going to open it up for 10 minutes for any questions or comments or anything that you guys have.
Hey, Brandon, just backing up to the Petro Choice discussion. So we use Petro Choice, but they don't actually service our area, so they go through a sub distributor, who is probably one of the biggest in the area. And I've checked around and asked people, and they say that this one we go through is probably going to be giving us our best pricing. But PetroChoice doesn't. All they do is they order through the sub distributor, and they just pass along the pricing to us. So is there any indication on your end from your discussions with them that they would actually make efforts to help us out on that? Because I know they have a couple of Arizona customers that they use this sub distributor for, but I would expect or hope that PetroChoice might try and help us negotiate that a little bit, because otherwise what we need to do is we just need to cut PetroChoice out of it, and because they're not making any money on us anyway, and they don't have any incentive to do that. But I just want to know if that's something that's come up in your discussions with them.
Yeah. Yep. So when I talked to Brian on Monday, that was one of my biggest points, was that even though we are negotiating prices from PetroChoice, I was asking Brian if he can get whoever he needs to on his end, because they have a separate department that deals with like third-party vendors that do the sub distributors. And I asked him to reach out to them and see if they can negotiate prices down for all the sub distributors as well, coming into PetroChoice. He said that he would have to get back to me after the holidays, because the team, I guess, that does that is super swamped right now, and they haven't been able to reach out to all the sub vendors that they have. But it is something that we're getting in the works, because that was my main point for like Arizona. I specifically mentioned Arizona because I know that is like you're dealing with a sub distributor and not directly with PetroChoice, which you are, but you're not.
Yeah, we put in our orders through Brian, but it's the sub distributor Vanderpool that shows up, and when there've been issues in the past, there were some billing problems, and it was actually Vanderpool who was able to figure it out for us and knew exactly what happened. And so we've been thinking for a while, about whether we should just contact them and go direct. And we're going to do that. We're going to ask Vanderpool separately one of these days, just what they can do for us, and compare it. I have a few connections now that I've made with people that know some of the other distributors, smaller ones, and there's another big one too that people use. But anyway, I appreciate it. Good stuff and good efforts on our part. I appreciate you remembering Arizona in that one.
Yeah, of course. I always try to keep. I have a list of obviously all of our franchisees, and when we go into negotiations with our oil providers, we try to make sure that we make sure that the sub distributor franchisees are being taken care of as well. So, but as soon as I hear back from Brian on that, I will get with you. Now, I do agree with you. I think that you should reach out to that sub distributor and see if there's a way that they can negotiate prices down on their own. We don't hold your feet to the fire with using Brian and PetroChoice. So if you did do that, then that would be fine. I'll approve that right this second. That's no issue for us. Okay, well, if nobody has any more questions or comments, again, I'm going to say this every time until we get 100% participation, but I will need everybody to get on Slack as soon as possible. That is, Slack is going to be our main form of communication going forward, just so that we have our entire team able to respond to any questions that you may have, or any concerns, or any help with the real estate process or the building process. We'll be able to get to you quicker with those. Plus, Justin Costa and myself will be able to see that as well as your coordinator. So if you can get on Slack, if you have not been on Slack, please reach out to your coordinator, and they will be able to send you the link and get you involved with that. It's free. It takes about 30 seconds to sign up. You just use your Costa Oil's email account, and then you will be in our Costa Oil Slack channels and can reach out to us either privately or all together as once. We're trying to get 100% of our franchisees on Slack, so you guys can obviously communicate together. Ralph is a huge proponent on Slack. He's commenting all the time on there, doing a great job with what he's seeing. Ryan as well. So if there's anything you guys need, just let us know and reach out. But if I don't talk to you guys before the holiday, please have a great holiday and have a good time with your family and your friends.